Merlin was part of the Slytherin house. And this man was apparently one of the greatest wizards of all time. He was mentored by Salazar Slytherin himself, one of the greatest wizards in history. I want to learn about this. I want to know why. I want to know. First of all, Merlin is apparently a thing in Harry Potter, but I want to know about his story. I want to know if it's what led him to Camelot, because obviously he probably still goes there right now. That's not till he's much older, but apparently he still goes there. So, okay, all right, sure, yeah, let's find out. Anyway, this is a Harry Potter theory on YouTube. This is the story of Merlin, the most powerful wizard. Harry Potter explained. All right, so let's get into this. What is Merlin?
However, it should be mentioned that there are a few differences between the two Merlins. The Merlin from our own folklore was a legendary figure known across the lands as a prominent enchanter and wizard. He was
okay, so this is not the Merlin that I know of from the Arthurian legend, apparently.
Most notably featured in Arthurian legend, but was also a prominent figure in medieval Welsh poetry. The concept of Merlin that we're most familiar with first appears in Geoffrey of Monmouth's famous work entitled Historia Regum Britanniae. The book was first published in 1136 and is essentially
See, I didn't even know that. I thought it was just like the stories of King Arthur.
A pseudo-historical account of British history, following the lives of the kings of Britain over the millennia.
What do you mean pseudo-historical? What? Why would they make things half history and half fake?
Yeah. Merlin was created when Geoffrey combined two prominent historical figures, Myrddin Wyllt, a North Brythonic prophet, and Ambrosius Aurelianus, a Romano-British war leader. However, the story that we most commonly associate with Merlin in our own culture is the story of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table.
Yes.
The story, which has been subject to copious adaptations over the years, tells the tales of King Arthur, his court, his kingdom.
Wait, you're telling me that King Arthur was not real and like the Round Table was not? I feel like it was. I feel like there was a Round Table and I feel like King Arthur was real. Whether or not Merlin was actually able to do magic is a different matter, but I think maybe. I think it's possible, sure.
And his most trustworthy men. The Knights of the Round Table were a suborder of the Knights of Camelot, created by Arthur Pendragon, and they helped him with whatever quarrels he had to deal with. In one story, even helping him to combat his sister, Morgana Pendragon, and her attempts to conquer Camelot.
Oh, I thought that Morgan Le Fay.
In the realm of this universe's Merlin, he's a powerful sorcerer and the trusted and wise advisor of Arthur. However, what is most interesting about Merlin is that he's such an enigmatic
Side note, I don't know if you guys have ever actually watched the TV show Merlin. It's super good. I really enjoy it. But it does, I like how different TV shows will add their own tiny little spin on the stories of specific characters. But in Merlin, they don't trust each other like right off the bat. You really get to see how that's built over time, and how Merlin is absolutely just not taking any crap from anybody.
Figure. He's the subject of much discussion, widely because his existence has been adapted in so many ways and slotted into so many different stories. There's a certain allure about Merlin because he's this figure that's supposedly immensely wise and powerful, but there's still so much that is unknown about him. The fact that he appears in so many different tales, myths, and legends only adds to this mystique. I mean, he even ended up in Harry Potter. And though Merlin isn't explicitly mentioned...
Yeah, and it's wild to me that fucking Merlin ended up in Harry Potter. I had no idea. I didn't know that the lore even went this deep. I had no idea there was a beginning. I thought it was just fucking... These four people start Hogwarts, and yeah, I guess there is some other schools around the world, but that's it.
Mentioned much in Harry Potter. He does pop up here and there. He's the reason the phrase Merlin's beard exists. As I mentioned earlier, he's on a Hogwarts...
Oh yeah, because they do say that all the time. Merlin's beard!
Portrait. He's on a chocolate frog card, and he's even the founder of an organization called the Order of Merlin. It has been expressed that the Order of Merlin was founded by Merlin during the Middle Ages, created with the goal of promoting laws to protect and benefit Muggles. While it was once an
And this is before it was separated, correct? Because I'm under the impression that right now, because like in the Harry Potter books in the current, we'll call that the current time. In the current time, Harry Potter is two distinctly separate worlds. There's the magical world and there's the Muggle world. And while the magical world knows about the Muggle world does not know at all about the magical world, and they work very hard to keep it that way, up to and including fixing problems and erasing people's memories. So I'm wondering if this is a time where that is not the case, where Muggles definitely know about magic people. They just keep distance maybe from each other, or I'm not really sure.
Organization, it later became an award.
Because I was under the impression, like, definitely during Salazar Slytherin's time, they knew, like, Muggles and wizards, like, their worlds were not separate.
Honoring impressive accomplishments or good deeds. There are 3 different levels of the award: first class, second class, and third class.
Okay.
The 3 levels of the award can be distinguished by the color of the ribbon, which holds up a large golden medal. First class was awarded for acts of outstanding bravery or distinction in magic, and was represented by a green ribbon.
Okay.
Second class was awarded for achievement or endeavor beyond the ordinary, and was represented by a purple ribbon. And third class was awarded for contributions to knowledge or entertainment, and was represented by a white ribbon. Being a recipient of the Order of Merlin was a huge honor, and can be compared to being knighted in our own world. Albus Dumbledore was the recipient of this award after his prominent defeat of Gellert Grindelwald in 1945. Merlin was the strong...
I did not know that, well, first of all, I did not know that the Order of Merlin was even a thing. I did not know that Dumbledore was a recipient of one of the awards from the Order of Merlin. And now I want to know which one of those colored ribbons Dumbledore actually got. Because each color means a different thing. So he beat Gilbert Grindelwald, so now it was the entertainment one, now he gets white? Or like how does that work? I want to know. Anyway.
Strong believer that the Muggle and Wizarding worlds should coexist, and founded the original organization in an effort to help alleviate any complications associated with the coalescence of the 2 worlds. In the Middle Ages especially, there was a lot of conflict between Muggles and Wizards. The Wizarding world was essentially wide open, and Muggles knew that witches and wizards walked among them.
See, this is what I thought. Okay, alright, I'm following along. See, I'm keeping track.
However, rather than embracing them for their magical abilities, Muggles were exceedingly harsh when it came to dealing with magical folk.
Because they're all assholes. Listen, if this is all real and the Wizarding world is separate from the Muggle world right now, let me speak for all Muggles when I make the plea. Please integrate yourselves back into our society. Please, for the love of God.
They treated them like freaks.
Look, it's going to be bad because people are mean creatures, but it'll work out in the end, I promise.
Like spawn of the devil, and hunted them down in purges called witch hunts. What this tells me about Merlin's character is that...
What is a space marine without a couple psychers?
He was particularly pure of heart, as he was able to take the moral high ground and still consider the greater good of the world when his own people were being persecuted. The secondary goal of Merlin's organization was to create laws and legislation surrounding the use of magic on Muggles. I think that this was definitely a step in the right direction, but unfortunately, the conflict between Muggles and wizard kind proved too difficult to manage.
So what you're telling me is Merlin was directly mentored by Salazar Slytherin, and he took all of the good things and got rid of all of the bad things. That's why Merlin's the best. He's the best. He's even the best in Harry Potter. Okay, look, Harry Potter is a whole world made up of witches and wizards, and the best one is still Merlin, baby.
As the worlds eventually
Big Daddy M, son.
needed to separate entirely for balance to be found. The Wizarding world, which had a much smaller population, had to retreat into the shadows, creating their own new world with the use of concealment charms. Though the exact year is not specified, we know that the Merlin from the Harry Potter universe was born sometime in the medieval era, a period in history ranging from the 5th century to 15th century. This is quite a broad range of dates, but fortunately, given the fact that we know he attended Hogwarts, we can narrow this down a bit more. Some sources indicate that Merlin was born in 982 AD, which would make him one of the very first students at Hogwarts.
That would make a lot of sense, though, probably, yeah.
Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry was founded in the year 990 AD, which would mean that Merlin attended the school just a few years after it opened its doors. When he started at the school, he was sorted into Slytherin, so if Merlin attended the school during this period, then it would also mean that he would have been directly taught by founder Salazar Slytherin.
Well, he entered the school sometime around that time, right? So the fact that Salazar Slytherin was there for a while before he left and eventually like retreated down to the Chamber of Secrets, he taught for like 20 or 30 years. We just covered that, right? So like he taught for a long time, and he was definitely the mentor of Merlin.
Other sources speculate that he was a student sometime between the 11th and 15th century. However, I'm inclined to lean towards the former theory because I think that some of Merlin's power could be attributed to him having a teacher as powerful as Salazar Slytherin. However, based on Merlin's perspective on Muggle wizarding relations, I don't expect that Salazar rubbed off on him too much. A birth year of 982 would also likely be more consistent with Arthurian legend, as those stories took place in the 11th and 12th century.
Well, see, there you go. There you go. I mean, and we all know Merlin probably lived to be like 900 years old.
And
he invented fucking time travel, apparently.
Merlin was already quite old and wise. No one knows exactly how Merlin was born or who his parents were, but there are some theories.
Well, see, when a mommy badass and a daddy god love each other very much, they decide to get together in this broken down castle here and do it. And then a little bit later, this more beautiful wizarding person Merlin here pops out, and that's how it works. Oh boy! All right.
And I'm going to
correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how birth works.
Share the one that seems to be most consistent with Arthurian legend. Legend has it that Merlin was the son of a noblewoman and an incubus or demon. Some versions of the tale portray her as the daughter of the King of Northumberland. Shortly after Merlin's birth, the little one was baptized and cleansed of his demonic inheritance. A paradoxical figure, he embodies an encounter between good and evil, a kindly servant endowed by his father with supernatural powers. However,
okay, so his dad was a demon and his mom was a princess. Alright, that tracks, yeah, okay, alright, fair enough. Typical protagonist family, alright.
As we've seen, there are a lot of differences between the Merlin of Arthurian legend and the Merlin in the Harry Potter universe, so this could potentially be all wrong. While attending the school, Merlin proved to be an exceptionally gifted wizard, particularly in the realm of charms, earning his title of the Prince of Enchanters. This is supported by Merlin's very own chocolate frog card, which was created to immortalize him after his demise. Medieval. Dates unknown. Most famous wizard of all time, sometimes known as the Prince of Enchanters.
The Prince of Enchanters. Woo! Okay. Part of the court of King Arthur. It even says that on his card. Fuck yeah. The Prince of Enchanters. Hell yeah, baby. We know a couple other princes in Slytherin, don't we?
Part of the court of King Arthur. Merlin is also the source of much pride for Slytherin House.
Yeah, he is. He's like the only guy, right? Well, there's a couple, but Merlin's like the only big-name guy. He's the only reason Slytherin hasn't been kicked out.
House that produced perhaps the most powerful and definitely the most famous wizard in history. While attending the school, Merlin studied the cursed vaults of Hogwarts in great detail.
Also, the Slytherin common room, they kind of got the shaft end of that stick, if you feel me, right? Because their common room, their little hangout spot for their entire fucking house is under the Black Lake. And the light that gets filtered through the lake and then down into the windows comes in as a green light. Like, they're definitely getting shafted in this. Everybody else has, like, a nice tower view and shit. Or if you're Hufflepuff, in the case of Hufflepuff, you're close to the kitchen, like, all the time. So it is interesting to me that they kind of get hated on a lot, right? They're the Uchihas of Hogwarts.
5 legendary rooms hidden inside Hogwarts walls that house priceless treasures and powerful magical artifacts. Before his death, Merlin further immortalized himself by painting his own portrait. Then
I like how he's just got the bob for his hair. That's funny.
Enchanting it and hanging it on the wall of the school. His portrait would then serve to inform people about the cursed vaults. However, his messages were cryptic and hard to understand. The only character that we've seen that we know Merlin to have definitively interacted with was Sir Cadogan, who was a fellow wizard and knight of the Round Table. Like Merlin, Sir Cadogan's portrait hangs on the walls of Hogwarts.
This bumbling mother actually knew Merlin. What?
And his particular portrait can be found at the end of the divination corridor.
If you guys that don't know, that dude takes over for the fat lady of the Hogwarts mirror when she gets, like, when she starts running away because of the Prisoner of Azkaban shit. So he was the guard for their like door for a while.
Door. Cadogan might just be the closest connection we have to the enigma that is Merlin. Many speculate that Merlin was the most powerful wizard of all time, no questions asked, and I think there's certainly an argument here. His title of the Prince of Enchanters tells us right away that he was more versed in charms magic than anyone else.
Yeah, apparently. Oh, this is young Dumbledore, and this is, I believe, Dumbledore's wand before he ended up getting the Elder Wand. So this was his original wand, whatever the hell that is.
And charms are one of the most difficult forms of magic to master. He was also a master of wandless magic, though he did have a wand, and he even created a number of the spells that witches and wizards commonly use today. Expelliarmus. Have you heard of it? That was Merlin.
Yeah, it's the only spell that Harry knows.
Merlin is such an interesting figure, the most powerful and famous wizard to have ever lived. Yet, we still don't know so much about him. Who were his primary adversaries? Did he know Rexidian or Acristus? How did he achieve such high levels of power? Who were his parents? Was he a
Rexidian and who are those people? Acristus, Rexidian. I have so much to learn.
Such high levels of power. Who were his parents? Was he a pureblood, half-blood, muggle-born?
Well, he would have to be a pureblood, right? Because he was directly mentored by Salazar Slytherin, which means he was 1,000% not a muggle-born, and he probably wasn't a half-breed either, because we don't accept those in Slytherin House. It's greatness or nothing.
We just don't know, and I think that these are the things that make his character so compelling. What do you guys know about Merlin? There are so many different...
Apparently not as much as I thought I did. I need to know a lot more about Merlin. But that doesn't matter, because Merlin was in Slytherin House, and Merlin is like the only reason that Slytherin House is still a house. And people better start putting some respect on his name, because he's also the only reason they have probably an awful lot of the spells that they have, right? Like, he was put into the Uchiha house of Harry Potter, but you know what? He's Toby Rama. He created everything. He's an Uchiha Toby Rama. He says fuck it all, you know what I'm saying? So I had a lot of fun. That's Harry Potter. That's well, the Slytherin house anyway, and if I'm being completely honest with you, it's taken for granted. You know, it's not nearly as bad as people say it is. There have been a lot of famous witches and wizards to come out of the Slytherin house, not least of which is fucking Merlin, first of all, which is awesome. Creator of the Expelliarmus, probably one of the most well-known spells from the Harry Potter books. Merlin created that shit, right? Anyway, like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bells, do the things. My links will be in the description. Alright, well, I had a great time. Hope you guys had a great time. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Bye.